Cue the lights, kick it off now. Fans are crazed, making plays, scoring touchdowns. Hear the hits, feel the blitz, taste the end zone. Here we go into the highlight zone. Yeah!
It's the ABC 12 Highlight Zone, sponsored by Al Serra Auto Plaza. Now here's ABC 12 Sports Director Dave Ciseski.
Welcome into Week 5 of the Highlight Zone. I'm Dave Ciseski. Hard to believe it, but we've already crossed the halfway point of the regular season, and the action, storylines only get bigger from here. One of the marquee matchups tonight features the defending Division IV state champions, the Goodrich Martians, a perfect 4-0 so far, colliding with a team that's one of the surprise stories in the area. The Clio Mustangs, winless a year ago, they flipped the script. They're now 4-0, hungry, confident, and ready for a challenge. And as the saying goes, to be the best, you got to beat the best, right? Goodrich and Clio square off in our game of the week. Two undefeateds meeting in Goodrich tonight. Clio program on the rise this year behind star quarterback Demarion Erlenbeck. But tonight, they run into a juggernaut. That is the Goodrich Martians. Man, they are a great team. The Martians start off hot on the ground with a little old school fullback dive. Sophomore Jonathan Kane takes it up the middle. He'll go 45 yards untouched to the house, putting Goodrich up 7-0 on the opening drive. Back on offense, this time in the red zone, and who else would you give it to but senior running back Jacoby Leggett, walking into the end zone to put the Martians up 14-0. O-line playing a huge part in this game. Second quarter, Demarion Erlenbach, our athlete of the week, on 4th and 8, starts to his right, evades a defender, gets to the edge, powers his way in to put Clio on the board. Clio head coach Adam Clark calls Erlenbeck a superhero, and for good reason. You can see right there. But the Goodrich running game would go right back to work. Jacoby Leggett once again breaking one tackle after another, staying on his feet to score his second TD of the night. The Goodrich ground game would close things out from there. Martians continue to roll in the year, 65-14 over the Mustangs. Saginaw United going on the road this week to take on Davison. The Cardinals looking to remain unbeaten, averaging nearly 41 points per night, led by Western Michigan commit Jackson Dosh tonight. It was running back Ty Anthony Lewis who lead the way for the Cardinals, opening scoring with the 11-yard touchdown, 7-0 Davidson. He'd go right back to it, slicing his way through the Phoenix defense, but meeting him at the goal line, senior Jesse Metal, punching the ball free, recovered by United. Lewis would make up for the mistake, slipping through tackles at the line of scrimmage, giving a stiff arm and racing his way for his second touchdown. Jackson Dosh looking to get on the scoring action as well with a QB keeper, getting around the edge, making it look easy to extend the Cardinal lead. How about this? A big man touchdown returned by number 99, Ty Johnson. Nobody going to catch him all the way to the end zone, and one more score to cap off the night. It's by wide receiver Timothy Weaver, tiptoeing his way down the sideline for the score. Cardinals offense continues to dominate this season. Davison takes this one 49-8. Powers Catholic Chargers hosting Frankenmuth. Muth outscoring their opponents 131-21 their last 2 weeks, on a mission tonight, and that mission would continue. First quarter, Leighton Horde with a 29-yard touchdown to Brady Hale. Muth goes up 7-0, and they were just getting started. Same score when Horde's going to pitch it to Will McCubbin on the end around. He'll take it to the house for a tutty, 24 yards out, 14-0 Frankenmuth, the offense on fire. Still in the first when Horde does it himself here. 2-yard strike. He'll walk in and get the touchdown. That's another touchdown, 21-0. Powers looking to get something going. The big senior Aaron Labat-Talley takes it inside the 30, but the offense would turn it over on downs. Gavin Martin goes in untouched for the sack, setting up the offense once again. Horde going to fake the pitch. Then he'll throw a soft touch pass to Ryu Deal, who's got nothing but pay dirt ahead. 15-yard score. Muth wins big, 48-7. They improve to 4-1. Well, it's time to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll see a couple teams on a roll of late, and the Swan Valley Vikings and the Linden Eagles also will crown our latest Elga Fan Zone winner, moving on to the postseason. The Highlight Zone continues after the break. Welcome back. Well, the Linden Eagles have been soaring this fall, off to a 4-0 start and sitting atop the Flint Metro League stripes. A win tonight would match their entire win total from last season in nearly half the games. That's incredible, but it won't come easy. Flushing has pushed Linden to the limit the last 2 years, with just 6 points separating the two matchups. Both of them going to the Eagles. Now, could tonight be another nail-biter? Let's head to the highlights and see. Linden has won 7 of the last 10 in the series. However, the Raiders coming off an impressive win last week, hanging 45 on Kearsley. Flushing coming out strong. Peyton Ingram takes a handoff to the end zone, running through a wall, 7-0. Second quarter, Ingram would continue his hard running as he breaks a few tackles on his way for another score, make it 14-0 Flushing. Sniffing upset here. How about this play, though? Linden looking to get back in the game. Max Widner with the air raid to his receiver, Aiden Moore, in stride for the 36-yard strike. However, in the end, Flushing winning an upset here, 34-13. Over to Swan Valley, where the 3-1 Vikings have been stingy on defense, only allowing 7 points in their last 2 wins. Garber, on the other hand, just 7 points in the last 2 head-to-head in the series. First quarter, Swan Valley QB Keller Bedford passes to Jamison Pelt for the 28-yard connection, just a few yards short of the goal line. Later in the drive, Bedford pitches it to Fisher Stoney for a 2-yard touchdown. Vikings on the board, 7-0. Garber trying to get a spark on offense, but instead they turn it over with the fumble. And they put it right in the hands of the Vikings and Bedford. And Keller Bedford would make them pay. He'll find Camden Reynolds, who runs behind a wall of blockers. 62 yards into the end zone, 14-0 Swan Valley, rolling, and they weren't done. Later in the half, Bedford rolls out of the pocket and finds his receiver, Jamison Pelt, who mosses his defender, then runs it in from 35 yards out. Vikings rolling at home, 21-0. Same score second quarter. Garber trying to get something going here. It's deflected into the hands of Camden Reynolds, and Reynolds going to make a series of moves, and he'll follow the sideline. No one catching him, showing the speed, and he could go all the way, and he will. That's a house call for Reynolds. Swan Valley, another impressive win. They improved to 4-1, 42-6 they win and get that victory. Well, it's time now to check in on our Spotlight scoreboard. How about this? Freeland improving to 4-1. They've looked really good early on with a 42-13 win over Alma. QB Penn Seeley, 15 rushes, 150 yards in a score. Montrose stays undefeated also. 14-10 win in a defensive battle. Millington bounces back after an overtime loss. We don't have that scoreboard up there right now, but I'm going to walk you through this one, okay? 14-0. There it is. How about that? Gotta love technology, huh? Saginaw Heritage gets their first win on the season with the 42-20 impressive win over Lapeer. And Chesaning, a tough loss tonight, 49-0 to Birch Run. They now fall to 1-4. They were 9-1 last season. And Flint Hamity, how about this? Taking care of business, beating Bendel 34-28. 2 wins in a row for them, 3-2 overall. Well, time now for the highlight of the night, and this one's straight up a thing of beauty. Linden quarterback Max Widner. He's going to drop a dime. It's a missile downfield to Aiden Moore, and just look at this, right on the money, perfectly in stride. Moore hauls it in and takes it to the house for the touchdown. Linden may have come up short on the scoreboard tonight, but they take home the crown for highlight of the night. Well, the votes are in, and with 39% of the tally, how about this? It's going to be the Fenton Tigers. They're your week through Elga Fan Zone winners. Week 3 there. Congrats to the Fenton faithful, as the Tigers have now secured their spot in the postseason bracket. But now the spotlight shifts to week 4, and the question is, which student section will rise to the top this time around? Tonight, we're calling on the fired up fans from Goodrich, Clio, Swan Valley, Linden, and Powers. Only one can move on, and that choice is in your hands. Head over to abc12.com/fanzone to cast your vote on our online poll. Each week, we'll crown a new winner until just one school's named the ultimate Elga Fan Zone champion. We checked in with the Goodrich student section tonight, and trust us, they're bringing championship level energy.
We've been hyping this one up for a while now, actually before the last game that we got interviewed for. Freshmen popping out today, underclassmen love it, and it was a week-long preparation, a spirit, things like that to get them all here. Going in, you know, we've had some duels with Clio in the past, and we've come out on top, but they've never been 4-0, and we've been 4-0, and meeting each other here on homecoming night. They're looking to ruin our night. We're looking to have a good night, so it's been hyped up. We're a small community, but bring the biggest crowd, you know. We're the loudest every Friday night, and we know how to do it.
Well, fresh off a huge Monday night win over the Ravens, the Lions now turn their focus to the Cleveland Browns. One of the league's most feared players, defensive end Myles Garrett, arguably the best non-quarterback in the NFL. Garrett is capable of taking over a game on any play. But Lions head coach Dan Campbell says it won't fall on just one player to stop him. It's a team effort, says Campbell.
Myles, you know, he's a guy that, man, you got to pay attention to him, and because that's what he's capable of. So you know, you have to use a lot of resources, you know, to make sure that you're taking care of business. And we're fortunate here. We got 2 really good tackles. You know, that's always going to help, but you got to pay attention to that. And you know, you could do everything right for 59 plays and play 60. That's the one. So we got to be on point. Everybody's got to do your job. It's more than just one person.
Well, Michigan may be on a bye week, but the focus is still on the Wolverines. After 2 weeks without head coach Jerome Moore, the team welcomed him back this week. Moore spoke about the team's impressive 2-0 record during his absence and how proud he was of his players for staying focused and executing on the field.
First of all, good to be back. Miss the players, miss the coaches, staff. Vibes, energy are high. You know, vibes and energy were high when I left for Central. I felt like we had a really good week of preparation, and we played well. And but we did the same with the Nebraska game, and just wild with the connection of this team. They're just completely locked into the task at hand and what we need to do and how we need to get better. Always things to fix and correct, but how they played was the most important piece. We really emphasized that as the how. It wasn't the what, it was the how. And there's things we thought we had to change and fix and do a little bit different, and really adapt to our players and adapt to the people that we have in the building now, not to what we've always done or anything like that. So I felt really good about that.
Michigan State coming off a tough loss last week to USC. However, on a bye, the team will get an opportunity to rest players and try and regroup. As head coach Jonathan Smith said of the loss, we just didn't have enough. The Spartans return to action October 4th against Nebraska. Smith and staff looks to avoid a similar slide like last year. Well, that'll do it for Week 5 of the Highlight Zone. As always, thank you for spending your Friday night with us. Quick scoreboard update. The Tigers lost. The Guardians lost as well. But hey, we'll see you next week, everybody. Have a great weekend.